This is the Lean Builders Hoots on the Ground podcast with absolutely, positively no bullshido. Join us as we dig into exactly what lean construction is and how we can use these concepts and strategies in the field. This podcast will be different as we journey to job sites and mine the minds of lean builders, all in effort to pass forward building knowledge from those who have put their time in to learn a better way. Because that's just what lean builders do.
What's up, y'all? Adam Hoots here, the lean builder, Hoots on the ground with no bullshido. And today I got the Chiles Bros with me, and I am freaking fired up, man. This is going to be an amazing episode. I got the Chiles Bros, I got the Chiles Bros, I got a couple whole dogs, I got a couple done bros. Like, we are going in today. And I want to kick it off as I usually do, pretty quick. Brian, I met you first, my brother. Mike, you came as a nice secret bonus, a little icing on the cake. And I'm so excited to introduce the Lean Builder Nation to you guys today. Brian, I want to kick it to you, man. Who are you, my brother?
First, it's funny you call Mike the bonus because my mom always said I was her bonus child. I think Mike was playing for her, and I was a happy surprise at the end. But no, man, it's great to be here. I met you in Atlanta, and I got to know you right away around some tag playing and some baseball and some Braves. It was an awesome experience, and I just really loved it. And man, I came from a teaching and coaching background. Did that for a few years, went into the corporate world after coaching and realized the teaching life wasn't for me, but in the corporate world, I was struggling with finding my identity and what I wanted to do. And then Mike and I went on a road trip to go watch the Gators. Yes, we're in Kansas City, but we're big Florida Gators fans. And in that road trip, he was just talking, if that's right.
Yeah.
He was talking to me about this lean construction thing that I had never even heard of. And just kept talking about it. He's like, dude, you got to apply for this job, man. It'd be great for you. You can teach, you can coach, you can help us make the industry better. And that's why I'm here today. Hats off to him for sure.
Man, I love that. And you just reminded me of when we first met, man. That was three of my favorite things, right? Tact, baseball, and a Chiles Bro. Doesn't get much better than that. And then you guys just went on another UF road trip just last weekend, right?
Yeah, Mr. Boone White showed us around the Grove down at Ole Miss, man. If you've never been down there, first of all, hit Boone up. He's awesome. And yeah, he introduced us that's a different lifestyle down there, man. Their game days were incredible, but he was great. That's how fast the old dogs can become friends, become brothers. Man, we met 3 weeks ago at LCI, and boom, now we're there meeting his wife, breaking bread together. It was awesome.
That thing's terrible. I've never met his wife, but UF knows how to party too. They have pretty good football days.
For sure. Absolutely.
My first construction project was at UF. I don't know if we talked about that before or not, but I had a blast down there. All right, so let's do this. Maybe you can introduce Mike or kick it off to Mike for me.
I'm going to kick it off to Mike because he's got 4 kids and he's got a wife, so he doesn't get to. He probably has a lot of detail to get into with that, but I don't have near that big of a family. But I tell you what, he's an incredible person. I'm going to show this photo right here. This just shows how far back we go. That's my brother and me back when Mike was taller than me. But he's been somebody I look up to my whole life, and I couldn't ask for a better role model in this industry. And with that, his head's already big enough. I don't want to make it any bigger, but
yeah. XL crew.
Oh man, I appreciate that. Brian, I love you so much. I'm very proud of my brother and my sister. I'm the oldest of 3, and we were raised by a single mom. She's awesome, man. We come by management coaching naturally. Her dad, very much a teacher, manager, and she was as well. Her brother was as well. And so we've always just had that managing eye. And man, watching what my mom did as a single mom with 3 kids, I am married with 4 kids, and I don't know how she did it, man, because I don't know how we're going to do it sometimes, but it's a pretty awesome role model. And Brian is first and foremost my little brother, and that's so important. Our family is very close, and I'm very proud of that. I had no idea about construction when I was a kid, and I wanted to go be an orthopedic surgeon. Actually, I was even looking at med school options when I was graduating, but there was our cousin's grandpa was an iron worker, and he was the one who told us about. He just said, "Hey, man, have you looked into construction management at all?" And I had not. He talked to me about it. He tried to get me on at the iron workers. It was not a time where there was a lot of hiring going on. The bench was already full, so I didn't get that opportunity. But I did go into some residential construction. There's some local connections, and Chris Jeffries was a great guy, great starting his own business and got me going as a laborer. And I really appreciated that time. And then one of our neighbors, Tom Gerke, got me into landscaping and irrigation systems. So I got to do that. And I just enjoyed the physical part of it. I like being able to go in and see the results. And so construction management interested me. So looked it up, ended up at Missouri State and loved their construction management program. And from that point on, got on with Killing Construction and A.L. Huber as interns. And then I interned with Jay Dunn and just absolutely loved Jay Dunn, loved my bosses, had a really big impact on me joining them. And from that point on, I started in Springfield, Missouri, and we came in. I graduated 07, 08, 09 came around. That was a really tough time in the construction industry. That was really when it got hard to get a job and keep a job. Just really was slow. And so I had to travel around. I was on the road for 10 years, and my family went with me. And I had 4 kids in 3 different states, and we had a lot of awesome people that we met along the way and a lot of good friendships. And Lean was introduced to me when I was down in Florida. That was, gosh, probably like 12 years ago at this point. And it was pole planning is what we did. And so that caught on, the collaboration and just getting everybody talking. I was standing up there doing my own Post-it note, just trying to get the info captured. But the collaboration piece really stuck with me. And from that point on, I just continued to be curious about it. And then when I went to LCI first time, I think that was 5 years ago at this point, but man, I was hooked. Dude, I just absolutely loved the people portion of that, the when you hear bad words, culture piece of that, the respect for people piece of that. And I just, man, I'm telling you, Jen Lacey was one that just stuck with me, man. She just presented on her company and how they had that belief from the top down with their people. And man, that I was a fan instantly. From then on, I was just all in. I'm that way, Brian will tell you, but I get into something, man, I am into it. And I almost bought a Ole Miss hat, man, yet last time because it was so awesome, but I couldn't do it. We settled for sit, man. You know what we're talking about if you hear Stiffer. But dude, it was awesome.
Man,
That was my construction journey.
man, that was incredible. I like you just reminded me of my story in construction almost to a T, but through Whiting Charter, through DPR, trying to figure out why is scheduling so hard. And I thought it was a company.
Yeah.
It was a company. Like to a T, right? You graduated in 2006, came into the industry, did some work across the country, 12 states, 3 kids. I only had 3 kids. I tried for a 4th and just got told no. So you're clearly a better influence than I am.
It's better at surprises.
Even
Even to the pool planning. And that's one thing that drives you nuts. And I don't know that I'm ready to jump off that cliff with you yet, but even the Lean Builder, right? Because that book is so dedicated to getting last time you're in action. Yeah. It's a wonderful book, but folks just gravitate to, hey, lean's a tool. And it's just not. It really is not. And I think, again, even to the LCI 5 years ago, the journey 12 years, you are me, and you've come in my life in a big way over the last 6 months. You've become my go-to call when I go on home there. I love talking to you. It's like, I don't know, it's a comforting feeling, I'd say. Brian, I don't know if you get the same tone or comfort when you talk to him. What do you think the feeling or the vibe is that Mike puts off?
It's funny because let me go back to this. I do lean for a living. I'm a lean specialist at JD Dunn. So I talk lean 8-10 hours a day. And then I'll get off work and Mike will talk to me about lean. And I'm like, dude, I just did lean for 8 to 10 hours, man. Give me an hour to myself. And he's sorry, dude. I'm just fired up. And he's infectious that way, man. He like, once he gets passionate about something, I always call it his new toy. Once he gets that new toy, he's like, I gotta play with it, man. I look at that Discover, like, he'll take a class with Felipe, and he's the biggest scrum bag I've ever met. We won't go talking about scrum. I know that's a buzzword for you too, but no, man, he just gets excited about what he's passionate about. And I think that's why he's such a good dad and such a good friend and such a good brother. And it's easy for him to talk to anybody, but it's also when he asks you how you're doing, he actually means it, and that's rare. Usually it's what's up, and then you give him an answer. I didn't really want an answer. I was just saying hi, but he's like, "What's up, man? What do you got going on? What are you doing this weekend?" That's just how he is, and he's infectious in a good way.
Yeah, it's like a little bit of comfort on like a little comfort period on a cold day. Hard to explain. And Mike, you've been in the industry for a minute now, right? Like we're not.
Yeah, over 20 years.
And like through that journey, how did you get to be this comfort food?
First off, you guys are doing a good job buttering me up, man. I appreciate all that. But
Mike loves butter. So.
The thing I remember most on my job sites, and we've talked about this, DG, but it's people. It's the relationships. And when I was a kid, I talked about single mom. The reason we're called Chile actually is because of a relationship. It was a coach that just saw me in 7th grade. I'm in industrial tech class, and he's a storyteller, man. And he was just an infectious kind of guy. And his name was Wayne Zimmerman. And his wife also worked there, and she was equally contagious, man. And they're just positive people that just genuinely love people, right? And so he nicknamed me Chili, and he got me into shot put. And I didn't even know what a shot put was, but he got me throwing. And then he ended up being the coach that coached all 3 of us siblings, and coached Brian in high school. And Brian outdid me in high school football. Brian outdid me in high school track. But I like to think that part of the reason he got into those is because I did. And I think as you go through your life and your journey, I think we need to try to make those times intentional. Phil Hopper's as my pastor, he always talks about attention versus intention. And I think we have to be intentional with our relationships, and we have to appreciate those opportunities that are given to us. And then I am a product of a bunch of awesome guys. Like Bob Clausing was another one of my high school throwing coach, but those 2 coaches were just super instrumental in my life. And there's positive male role models that I've had that have popped in throughout my life that just really poured wisdom into me and really took the time to love and care for me. And when we have that information, we have a responsibility to go continue to spread that. I feel like my grandpa was a great servant, and he taught me a lot as well. He took that dad role on to help mom out when we were young, and he had a huge influence on me. And he takes that legacy of loving people and seeing people, and he passes that baton to us. And then we need to go take that as far as we can and get that into the next generation, into the people that we can influence, and let them continue to spread and grow that, man. And I think that's just what life's all about.
Yeah, and it's done through modeling. That's something we've taught me over the last even 3 months. We've been talking. It's only taught by modeling it. And I think you do an amazing job of that. The excitement about your passions to like the intention behind, again, it's people. So circle me back now. You outlined that to a T, and coming from the single mother childhood, having that grandfather influence, which maybe skipped the generation, right? Like when you think about that. So like what's the influence there? You said a family of teachers and managers. Clearly there's a people focus there in order to be successful. What's the driving force between the growing up and then now the intentional focus on people in construction?
I think you just got it. We talk about Ted Lasso. I love Ted Lasso, and I love the quote, "Be curious, not judgmental." that scene is super powerful. I hope people Google that and watch that. But I think that's how you just have to approach life. You have to genuinely be curious about what's in front of you, curious about the people that you meet. And as you learn things about them, you make those connections. I don't know if Malcolm Gladwell's book, Tipping Point, but I feel like all three of us on this screen here are connectors, and we have that ability. There's experts, there's people that are really good at their craft and know their stuff, and they know all this knowledge. And then there's connectors that can go, hey, you need to meet this person, or hey, did you know that this person also is into this? And I think all three of us are that just have that natural inclination to go try to connect people to people. And we need the experts. We need those people that can just really dive into depths on things that we don't know. But then also we need those people that can connect to the experts so that that knowledge can be shared and that expertise can be brought to a different level. And I like Dave Ramsey's stuff. I went through his stuff when I was young and married, and well, still married, but now not young. But we try to apply Dave Ramsey's stuff. And again, there's nothing new under the sun, right? So all the wisdom that we're hearing in Lean is not new wisdom. And all the wisdom we heard in Dave Ramsey is not new wisdom, but he's got a way to state it that connects with somebody, right? And I feel like the more we share and the more we talk to other people, the more of those tips and tricks and insights that we can get that we can then share with others. And hopefully it makes a connection that drives somebody to their growth. Ryan was very good, like at the college level and all through life. He has been really good at connecting people, just talking to people. So he's given me the credit for that, but he is just as equally good at making new friends. Honestly, like he's the reason we're here today because he introduced you and me together. I think that's just something that's part of being curious and just appreciate people and then letting them offer that to the world.
Yeah, and I heard he was better than you in track and field and football. Can you tell me a little bit more about that, Mike?
I was always close to that record in high school. I tied the record in junior high, which coach said tying the record's like kissing your sister. And I love my sister, but we tied it. I tied it to the half inch. I was like, oh my gosh, can you rematch that? But he in high school, he beat that shot put record, and he's just a really strong, powerful dude. And he got into track and just did it, man. And then in football, man, I played football, and I'd say I was probably a solid performer. I was a good leader of the team, but not the one that's going to be all conference to get those accolades. Like okay, decent, dependable, but not that like over the top pancake people and destroy them. Brian was go get them, dude, and go destroy them, man. And that got him to college. He went to Mo West and ended up having a very successful run at Mo West, one of the best. One actually, his team made the Hall of Fame because of their success, and that. So he's still got his teammates that were at his weddings, and he's one of those classics where you look up at the people, and he's still got his connections and his teammates that he sees today, and that's what I'm talking about with those connections and meeting and appreciating those people.
Nice. I love that. Brian, we just heard a lot about the successes. Take me through that journey from breaking shot put records to getting to play college football and the success there. And sprinkle in a little what you've learned through construction in the way too, would you?
My whole life has been, I never quite knew what I wanted to do. It's just, that's been my whole life. And it's like, I started playing football and doing track because my brother did it. And then I started getting successful at it. So it's carried over. And then I knew I liked playing high school ball. So I was like, you know what, I'll go play college ball. But I had no idea what I want to major in. And got to college and I was like, you know what, high school was cool. Teaching and coaching is cool. I'll just go back and do that. Got a degree in teaching and went back and taught and coached at least some at high school. Coach Drew Locke, if you guys know who that is, Mizzou standout. And he's on the Seattle Seahawks now. Obviously, I was coaching O-line. I wasn't coaching the quarterbacks. They don't want me around there. But
you do protect them quite a bit.
That's exactly. But then even there, I was like, man, I don't know if I want to do this the rest of my life. And then I got a call from my head coach. And he said, hey, we need a graduate assistant here at Missouri Western. Do you want to come back and coach college ball and get your master's paid for? I was like, yes, because I don't want to do this. So went back there. was there, like, man, I quickly realized that while I was there, my head coach got let go. And I was like, man, I don't want this lifestyle. It's long hours that you're not even seeing anybody. And you're sitting in a room for 10 hours trying to run a ball 4 yards. I'm like, I just wasn't getting fulfilled with that. And so once I got my master's, I had that piece of paper. I just went out into the corporate world and took the first job that would hire me. Quickly realized that logistics was not what I wanted to do. So I ended up going to do it. I was a project manager for a medical software company here in Kansas City. And then that's where I started finding my niche. Hey, project management is where it's at. I love project management. I love being able to take a product and get it to the finish line kind of thing. So from there, I slowly became, okay, I worked a little bit for the railroad, and then they moved that project to Texas, and I wasn't quite ready to move to Texas. So I was I was actually laid off on a Friday from that job because I didn't want to move. And then Monday, Jay Dunn called me for my third and final interview. And so it was perfect. And Mike even texted me that Friday. I said, dude, you ready for a call, man? They're calling you. It's coming. So I went and interviewed there. I just loved it. And the whole interview, they didn't ask me about construction, which was such a relief because I didn't know anything about construction. They were asking me about leadership. They were asking me about teaching. They were asking me about problem solving. They were asking me about all the stuff that I've done my whole career. Just now it's in the construction world. So now I've been here 2.5 years. I was super, obviously, as green as you can get going to job sites. I was like, what's that do? What's that thing? What's this? Like, I'm just asking questions because I didn't know. Mike's worked at Jay Dunn for, like you said, 20 years now. And I'll be honest with you, we didn't talk much about construction when we talked. We would talk about leadership. We would talk about family. We would talk about that stuff. So our conversation started quickly changing and to where we could nerd out together. And I'm never going to say I know everything about construction, but at least I have an idea of, I know what dry didn't mean now. I didn't know what that meant 2.5 years ago. Stuff like that. But what I found is I like the fact that I came into the industry not knowing construction because I was able to use a different lens. Like when I was in that project trailer, all these people were talking about stuff that I'm like, I don't care what they're talking about. I care how they're talking about it. And what's the end goal? What are we trying to do? Or is everybody have a voice? What are we doing here to make sure that the problem is getting solved, not that the person getting blamed for it? And it turns out that's what lean construction is, man. Lean construction is about looking at the system, not the person. It's giving everybody a voice. It's trying to make sure that people are going home safe and having that respect. And it's not just about being nice. It's about actually caring about a person and potentially saving a job. We talk about the suicide rate all the time, man. It's way too high. It's unacceptable, really. And that's something that we can do to make a difference and not the old school throwing hard hats and all that stuff, which luckily I wasn't around. I haven't seen too much of that. I've seen a couple trailer doors slam, but very rarely. But no, that's the industry that I fell into because of Mike, and I love it, and I never want to leave. And I tell this the truth. This is the first job I've ever had where I was like, I could do this the rest of my life. And there's no questions asked. And I've been here going on 3 years now, and there's obviously I had great leaders at Jay Dunn too. That helps for sure. But I'm just so blessed to be in this industry and just so humble that they took a chance on me, and I'm working out so far.
Man, that was awesome. You just got me fired up.
Dude, I'm fired up. I'm ready to go, man.
Where are we guys? Come on. Let's go to the job site right now. You just as you're talking, it's their buddy Brubley and I co-authored the book, The Old Dog Winning the Source.
Yes, sir. Boom.
I got ready, baby.
Oh, love. I appreciate it. Dude, I love that. There's another book called Everything I Learned About Lean I Learned in the First Grade. Like, you pull that one. Oh, dude, you are a football player, man.
Double look, yeah.
But it's an amazing book, and it's the way I came into the industry, right? And it's the way of the lean geek in that book, The Old Dog Winning the Source. I'm gonna think. There we go. It's the main, it's the lean geek comes in and they're like, hey, I know all these lean terms and they're wonderful and great. But then we start talking about soffits and dry-in and hair bits and beads and the control wire, the black magic smoke, right? And so And then you start getting confused and you're like, the lean stuff works. I know it works, but how do you make it happen? And then, so no offense, but, and I stand on your side too, Brian, just a little bit here, right? From a lean geek perspective. Hey, I'm just curious and just want to know if you see something. And then you got on the other side, it's like the old dog, right? Like Mike Chiles and doing it for 20 plus years, like making it happen in the field, learn the technical side, applying the social side. And so I feel like this awesome, strong pull. To me, that's what a lean builder is. You said it beautifully, right? It was like understanding both the socio and technical side. It's not a tool. It's the ability to make an impact daily and to the positive, to performance. And so when you look back with your success, and your brother said it was about the people side of it and mentioned some connections you still have and that sort of thing, like, when did you realize how powerful the people side of it was?
My whole life, when I talked about, or we were just raised that way. It's funny. He was talking. I was thinking, like, when we're out in public, and my brother and I are out in public, they can see we're like a dog looking to chase a car. Like, people around us can tell we're about to go talk to that stranger. And then people are like, no, 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 stay back. It's just how we are as people. We just love talking. And you never know who you can meet or who you can talk to. I just happened to come up to you after the tag planning and just, I begged you for this book. I don't know if you remember that. I was like, dude, you got one copy left. You're like, I'm looking for an old dog. And I said, oh, I'm right here. So it's just like doing that, man. Once you learn it, then the teammate aspect of it, like a football locker room is just such a rare thing. There's all races, ethnicities, religions, everything in one area. And it's like you're forced to, hey, come together or fail, really. Yeah. And people I won't talk to for years, we'll bump into each other and we can sit there and talk like no time has passed at all. And it's just, those are the relationships. Like, I know I don't like comparing football to war because what those men and women do is totally different than football. But at the same time, like, it is 11 guys with one goal and everybody's doing a different job. I make football analogies all the time at work because it's the same thing. If I, as an O lineman, know the concept that the receivers are doing, I can do my job better. Because I'm like, okay, it's a longer route, so I need to block longer. Like, if you know what everybody else is doing, it helps you. And that's where weekly work plans come in, daily huddles. Like, it's not just about super knowing. And the super knowing is important, don't get me wrong. But if you play the game of telephone and nobody else is talking to each other, that's the issue. And so relationship, you can tell when you walk in a trailer and you can tell when you sit down at a weekly work plan if that's a healthy environment or not. You can immediately see right away. Same way you can tell my locker room. I could walk through a locker room and be like, dude, these guys don't even like each other. They're not going to win. They don't have it. It's the same thing for me. And so you got to build that relationship. I know that's a term that gets used so much. Build relationships, but build authentic relationship. And like Mike said, you got to build intentional relationships. They can't just be that passing, yeah, they're cool, like whatever. Get to know those people. And that, I got to go back to the suicide rate. It's about, if you know somebody inside and out, if they're off, if they're feeling a certain way, you don't have, that guy seemed angry today and that's not like him. I'm going to go have a conversation with him. It's that, like, situation and relationships are everything. I think it's so important in all aspects of life, but essentially really at construction level.
Heck yeah. Oh, you, so, yeah, it is. And so you just reminded me as you're talking about how much you love talking. Like, this is the first experiment, right? Kicking off 2026 here. I know we still got to do Thanksgiving and decorate for Christmas and jingle the bells and all that, but this episode releases in 2026, kicking off a new year of old dogs. You can see it down below, like, coming on, hosting the Lean Builder podcast as well. So I'm looking forward to this as well. And feel free, like, I don't have to be the only one asking questions. My God, dude, I'm afraid of what you're gonna pull out next, man.
No, I got toys, man. I got everything.
Dude, my man got tricks over there. I love that. But yeah, so again, whenever you guys, open invitation for you guys for sure. Any of the old dogs want to come on, bring it on. Let's go. I'll co-host with you. You can host your own show if you want. Like, whatever we can do to keep you talking, Brian, man. You like, Man, you guys get me so fired up because it's really knowing what the real definition of lean construction is, or what flow construction, whatever we want to call this thing where we engage the people so deep and authentic that they're able to increase flow for their own well-being. Like to me, that is the whole purpose of what we do. And I just love hearing you preach it, baby. You talk about it, you teach it, you just get me excited.
Hey, your passion too is infectious, man. It's calling you and you answer the phone excited, and it's not fake at all. And it fires me up. I called you randomly yesterday with the question of the day, and you were just like, dude, that's the kind of stuff to start your day. Call somebody. That's why I love the old dog community, man. It's you can pick up the phone and call somebody like last weekend, Boone, man. Hey, we're gonna be in town. You want to meet up? Hell yeah, dude. Let's spend the whole day together. That's the type of stuff. And again, back to the relationships. You never know who's going to cross your path. So always be genuine and always be that person who people can rely on.
It's super cool. I found out yesterday that Dune and I get to go to Mississippi Forge Summit. They got a Forge Leadership Summit where the greatest construction leadership minds in Mississippi all gather on one afternoon evening. And Boone and I get to teach a workshop and then do a nice talk at their dinner that evening about the production laws. And man, I like you said it, the Old Dog Network, being able to we did another experimental call just the other day. We was few of us are driving to work and we just said, you know what, we're gonna throw on a link and tossed it out to a few people and 3 people showed up and we, despite my technical ability, disability, we made it happen, man. And Mike, like same thing. I'm gonna start recording some of the work phone calls on the way home, toss that link out there in the WhatsApp chat and on school and just see who pops on. That's the kind of thing that is inspiring that next generation, passing the people mindset down to that next generation. And Mike, how do we accelerate that? How do we ignite that and explain that so that it can't be missed?
I think we got to find the hungry and then we got to feed the hungry. And we can throw a bunch of knowledge out there, but we got to have receptive audiences. So I think we need to find, there's a ton of hungry people out there, and we need to go to those schools. We need to go to those job sites, and we need to make that time, make ourselves available to let them ask questions and let them be curious and let them know what we know. But we also need to, it's okay to say no. And if we don't have the receptive audience and we don't have the curious people, we don't want to just throw more information on the pile for them to ignore. We want to make it useful. I think Hoots, honestly, like what Brian was talking about, you're such a contagious person, man. You have this infectious passion. And man, I feel like even though we've only known each other probably less than a year overall, I feel like I've known you 4 years. And I just really look forward to talking to you. And what I love is your example of humility, and you genuinely want to get better and you genuinely want to improve, and you're okay asking anybody for that feedback. And so that then inspires me to ask for that feedback and to be more open and honest with people. And I think as we live that, like you talked about, just being an example, as we live that on our job sites, and our job sites are, I don't know about everybody, but our job sites are getting bigger and bigger, and our teams are getting bigger and bigger. And so the beauty of that is when we're working with these teams and we're on site with them, we have an awesome opportunity there to impact a lot of people coming through that job site. And that's just showing up where we're already at and taking advantage of it. But then those people are going to go to different jobs, and that's going to spread, right? And so we got to take the time, though, to get to know them as people. And then as we start to have a relationship with them, they will get more curious. And there's going to be people that don't care, and that's okay. We don't have to win. We have to spend the 80-20 rule, right? We don't have to spend 80% of the time trying to go win over the person who doesn't care. We need to go feed the hungry people. And as they pour into our lives too, we're getting better as we help them. And I love the beauty. That's optimize the whole, man. That's like Brian was talking about. That's the whole team, right? We all play different positions, but we all have a very important role. And if we don't do our role, then there's a hole somewhere. And we need to make sure that our heart and our soul are into whatever we're doing, regardless of what that role looks like on a job site, because Leadership is simply influence. And we don't have to have a title. We don't have to have a certain spot. We can be leaders wherever we're at. And that's what we need to do.
Our job sites are getting bigger and bigger. Lots more people on those. They say, what do they say? Birds of similar feathers flock together or something along those lines.
Birds of a feathers flock together.
There you go. Thank you, sir. We wing geek.
Yeah. Dr. Hoots, you're going to be the geek of all geeks.
Oh man, tell me about it. I'll never be able to take that title. And please don't say that anymore because yeah. But so as connectors, we have a way of finding those feathers that belong together or something like that. And I find it interesting. Just last week, I was told on my job site through emails that I was superfluous and imprudent. And this was by not my contractor, but another contractor on the job site. And usually I would have been fired up and called that person and sent an email right back. But I just let it go and just said, okay, like, that's just not my people. And I love what you're saying. Find them first and then feed them, right? Identify who is hungry for it, because I'm trying to talk to those people through their perspective. I'm imprudent and superfluous. And beautiful. You told me I have no need to engage with you ever again. Or when I engage with you, to just realize that you think I am superfluous and imprudent. You just gave me the keys to unlock my behavior around you, assuming good intentions still. And I think that last part is something I'm still learning. My big time influence in my thinking here, right? Like the lean construction community is a small community, right? We have to band together. If we don't, we will be superfluous and imprudent to the entire industry. And like that influence, that perspective in my life really put the switch for me and changed something inside me. And can you talk a little bit about that, the learnings behind that?
Like you're talking about, I've had to go through that journey too. And if I got that email 20 years ago, I would have been pretty mad, and I would have been like, what? And I would have been ready for the fight. Right. And now
Now we get that daily.
now I got a beautiful, awesome wife and 4 kids that teach me a lot about myself. And especially when I'm getting onto those little kids and I realize they're mirrors of me. And Mac's story is really good about you can look out the window or you can look in the mirror, right? And I'm just on that growth journey myself to try to look more in the mirror. And if I get that email now, I'm like, am I? And if I am, like, I need to go to them and then be like, and be curious and say, why do you say, and I'm not saying this as an argument, but genuinely, I want to learn, what did I do that make you say that? And how can I change that? And I think we can learn from different people because they all have different backgrounds, right? Again, optimize the whole. My wife has a good intuition on, she's one of those people pulling me back that my brother was talking about, because dude, you're going to offend this person. And it helps me think about, there are different ways that people want to be talked to, and there's different comfort levels that people have on being approached. And sometimes it makes people's day that you go and talk to them, but then other times it makes them uncomfortable. And I think just trying to learn that balance of understanding not everybody wants to come tell me their life story, but there are some that do. And if they want to, man, I'm ready to go and talk about that. But if they don't, I need to understand that doesn't mean that they hate me or they're bad people. It just, there's a lot of depth to everybody, right? And everybody has a story and everybody has wounds and everybody's on a journey. And I think it's just trying to be appreciative of that. And that's part of that respect for people, right? Just respect that, respect them, respect their journey. And then also respect that we can get better from anyone and everyone. The person with the jerk email or the jerk boss that yells at you, man, they can make you a better person. And we can use that as an opportunity to grow.
What do you think, Brian?
Being told you're not perfect is never going to be an easy thing to hear. I'm sorry, it's for anybody. And for your example, exactly, like I go back to, okay, maybe the wording wasn't right, but with Adam able to be humble in that moment, or you have some humility in that moment, and then go back to don't look at the person, look at the system. And in that system that I was part of, and that was there something else triggering this? Does this person have something going on in their life that I need to think about first? Like before I go off and blow off the handle, go make long-term decisions on short-term feelings. The big thing is you got to take that for what it is. And maybe they didn't word it in the right way, but there's somewhere for me to learn from that. It's that kind of thing. I know for me, like I wouldn't say I'm coachable or I was coachable, but there is times where I become that excuse maker. I did this because of this. I'm like, okay, great, but you still aren't listening to me. You're not hearing my side of it. And I get defensive. Like my manager, Dan, will tell you, he'll be like, hey, I need to talk to you about something. I'm like, oh, well, what do I do now? And I started getting defensive immediately instead of just, hey, take a second, listen to what he's saying, listen to it, and then see if there's room to grow from that. And just, it's hard. Trust me. I'm the youngest of three. My mom, I'll be honest with you, I was her baby. I was baby my whole life. She probably tied my swim shorts till I was 15. I don't even know, but
Yeah, she did.
It's just
Confirmed.
one of those things where I was a baby, and so I was perfect, and I could never do wrong. And then started playing football and stuff, and I would quickly learn that I was doing wrong. But yeah, it's never easy to hear that you're not doing a good job, but you have to be able to learn from those and not just get defensive, and that's tough.
And Brian was resourceful too, man. Like he was young and he made his way out the football field, and he's playing with kids 5, 6 years older than him in the backyard football games, and I taught him how to just catch and drop right away. So he was our first down target, man, because he catch and drop. Because if he stood up, they were going to strip the ball from him. He figured that out, and then he went to school later than I did because I was starting middle school and he was in elementary school. Well, he knew that I kept up with my laundry, right? So after I leave, he gets full run to all my clean laundry. So he didn't ever have to do his laundry. He just got to steal mine. He's always good at taking advantage of those opportunities.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, your pops are not being in the figures now, huh? What do you think?
I don't know, man. He caught me, what? That was probably high school. When you were in high school, it started surpassing me. But that was another good opportunity, Hootsy, man. I could go up and just poke the dude's shoulder or something, or I'd hold him down on his arm. He'd be, I can't breathe. And I'm telling you, dude, mom come running in and take care of him. I'm like, fuck, if he's screaming, I can't breathe, obviously he had there. Right?
It worked.
It didn't work.
Strategy, right? That's awesome, man. I want to hear some more stories. Fine. Give me a good childhood story, just like good memory from back in the day. Something that
I'll go back to backyard football. There was one time where we were playing backyard football, and it was Mike's friends and me, essentially what it was. And 2 completions was the first down. So I was the completion. If it was 4th down, I was desperation zone. But one time I used a not very nice word to Mike, and he just gave me this look. And I just took off up the hill, ran inside, ran to the bathroom, locked the door, and he got in there pretty easily. And he gave me a whop on the butt. I don't remember where it was, but it was quick. I don't think he was as mad at me as he was embarrassed of his boys. I was like, I can't let my brother talk to me that way. So that was honestly though, he was 5 years older, so he was always way bigger than me. So he never really roughed me up too bad until then. I was in college. By the time I was bigger than him, he was such a nice guy that I'm like, dude, I can't even pick on you or anything now. So I missed my window, but no, it's little stuff like that is all he did. And he was always good about letting me around until the girls started coming and Brian go away.
That's awesome. Yeah, you guys got me thinking on this comment here, this email, reflecting on it. Maybe there's something I do need to learn. I need to lean into, because I was ready to walk away from it and just say, whatever. That's the same thing. That's the other thing. But maybe I should lean into it. For the record, it was regarding a change order, which was unjustified, and there's some passions and some heatedness going on there.
Don't get me wrong. There's jerks out there that sometimes it is what it is. You got to, but there's some learning. But yeah,
I don't think this guy's a jerk by any means, but I do think he's under a lot of stress. Thinking about what Mike was saying earlier with his wife, holding them back and saving them from certain situations of how people are being received. Brian, I think us lean geeks might call that emotional intelligence in some form or fashion, but I think Mike explained it perfect. Yeah, again, lessons to be learned when the moment presents itself as well. I think going too soon during a holiday, yeah, I wait for that moment to approach. Yeah, I've got so many ways I want to take this. Which way do you guys do it? Where do you guys want to take this thing?
I just, as you were talking about that, I was just thinking of, even if you got the jerk person, again, you can still learn from them, right? And sometimes we learn things we want to do, sometimes we learn things we don't want to do, but we don't want to discredit that we can learn something and that they have a purpose and they have value. Every person has value. And as you were talking about the change ordering the situation, I was just thinking, I went right back to what Brian mentioned with systems, not people, right? And change order systems and how we deal with change orders as a system that can be very contentious, or it can be a partnership type situation. And it's how we come together and go through that to solve the problem. Are we all in the boat together? Are we all one team trying to go build this building? Or are we separate teams in separate corners? And we can all be in the boat together and understand, yes, people should not lose money if something, they signed up for something and the game changed on them. They shouldn't have to lose money there, but should they be fair and honoring what they signed up for? Yes, they should. Having those conversations and trying to get to that win-win solution, I think, is very important. And then you talk about the girls get away. Yeah, I just thinking about that with Brian. Dude, I met my wife in junior high, dude, and I started dating her in high school. So it was one girl that easily get away because it was always my wife. But we every time we got in a fight, man, we break up and then we get back together, and the whole family had to go through that little roller coaster with us. And man, that went on. We went to the same college and we still had that little roller coaster. And thank God that we got through that and learned that we could disagree and stay together. But that's part of my journey and the pride response that I was talking about, right? When I am responding strong, it's like we've talked about, Adam, like when you get close to people's wounds, people get defensive. And we all have wounds that we deal with. And then we all have scars of old wounds that we have dealt with. And in construction or just in life, people like to talk about and brag about their scars, but man, they protect those wounds and they hide those wounds, man. So we also need to remember, in a systems, not people situation, that people are wounded by different things in life, and we got to understand that and be graceful in those situations.
Man, that's wisdom in itself right there. You just brought the two conversations together for me, right? You talk about the ups and downs, the roller coasters of a high school and middle school, the high school relationship, going into college, now married for how long now, Mike?
We've been married 1 year less than I've been working. So I think technically we have our 20th and 27. So we're at 18 right now.
Amazing. Freaking love it.
Been
And
married so long, I couldn't even drink at their wedding.
got the problem.
17.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so a lot of hard conversations through those roller coasters, a lot of wounds and developed together. And I love how you reminded me, like you talk about the scars, and I immediately think of my abdomen, right? Because we're just the hackedness that is my abdomen full. It's like those things are, even that's hardly talked about a lot of times, right? And that's a physical wound, right? Not to even think about or mention emotional wounds, because it's just something that's been drilled out of me, right? And so we're working on those things. And then you start to further talk about or define emotional intelligence in the piece that I'm working on personally as that, like, regulation, right? I love how you brought Mac's story into it from looking out the window, or you can look in the mirror. Speaks to his leadership, his character development as well. How strong that is of just looking internal before you can look external. And it makes me want to go clean up and take a shower and go to church and maybe read what is it, 22nd Proverbs 22.
Yeah.
Man, man. So I guess they get money, right? There's this change order, this email thing, right? Money's a hard thing to talk about for some reason. People avoid the discussion until it becomes a problem. And I find this is the link that I'm pulling from what you said, Mike, and those emotional damages, wounds, traumas, whatever you want to call them, right? They're a little bit like mine. They're hard to talk about until they become a problem. And so, what's for each of you, whoever answers, please, but what's the relief out there? What does that look like from a regulation standpoint?
As far as lean, I love lean though, because as a lean specialist, I can't go to your job and give you more money or give you more people on your job. What I can do is sit down with you and say, okay, what is the problem? What's the root cause? What's the problem here? And what can we do with the resources we have? And it's not about asking for a bigger check, because sometimes on a job, they feel like more people is the solution. Sometimes when you throw more cars on the road, there's a traffic jam, you know what I mean? So it's about coming together, and like we go back to it, giving everybody a voice. All right, guys, like an A3, perfect example. A3 is, hey, let's figure out what the real problem is. Let's figure out what's the current state, where do we want to get to with the resources we have. And that's why I love going to jobs and going, hey, what are you having issues with? And then back again, nerding out 5 whys. All right, let's break that down now. Let's get to that, and by asking questions and say, okay, so really money's not the issue. What the issue is this. We didn't communicate well with this person. This person didn't do this. Let's look at, I kept saying person instead of system, but you know what I mean. Yeah. But that's where you go have those conversations, and the more voices you give, the more you might invite somebody to the meeting that they didn't contribute, and the last thing they say is was the aha moment that everybody realized. And just that part of it is maybe money isn't the root cause. Let's look back and figure out what we could have done differently next time.
Money is absolutely not the root cause, and it's easy to talk about, right? It's easy to go yell at people over money when really they're yelling at you because they're frustrated about something at home, or they're frustrated about something at work, and that's where it's an easy place to go take that aggression out. And I'm going to say we got to use docs, man. We got to use our support. And I'm not going to tell you that wife and I figured everything out in 18 years without that help and support. Man, you need people around you. That's why the old dogs are so important. That's why the lean community is so important. That's why meeting new people through the podcast and the stuff that you've been doing, Hoots, is important, because we've got to meet people that are going through life that have learned some lessons, and we need to learn from them and be humble to accept that. And you need professional help sometimes. And there are people that are trained to help get to that root cause and to go solve those problems, which I'm going to tell you, 99% of the time, it has to do with something in the mirror. But we have to have people show us that and turn on the light for us sometimes. Sometimes we get comfortable looking at the mirror in the dark, man, and the light can expose some things that are ugly, but it also can show you what's there so you can call a spade and address the real problem.
Yeah. And again, I feel like Brian, can I give you some feedback, sir?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I heard you say when you first started, I love lean. I heard A3. I heard root cause. I heard all the things I would have said. I love you, brother. You are we to a nutshell. And then I hear Mike say, in the old dog fashion, there's people to help and coach and support and like leading people, talking it out, right? Hey, I'm probably the problem. And I think that both answers are it. And I think like the lean geek, my answer like is the technical focus side of the thing, right? Trying to learn the tools and things that I can do and apply or think and be like in order to find the thing that Mike talked about that I'm still looking for, right? Like I feel like there's these things are a bridge to get us to this reflective thought. It is a socio-technical framework, right? Like lean does not work without the tools or the people, the process of the people. Construction doesn't work without material and people, like and equipment, like resources. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Brian?
First of all, I think Mike and I need to write part 2 then. We'll write different things for part 2.
Yeah.
But no, I think to go back to plug in your book, again, you're welcome. You can pay me later. But like, that's why you need both sides. That's why we have project managers and superintendents. And so many jobs, it's this. It's like they're pitted against each other when the best projects are like this. Like Mike's in a perfect example. Mike is in an office right now where the senior PM and the superintendent share that office in that trailer. That's so rare and so wild, but that job is the epitome of what we need on our jobs. We need that marriage of project and field, because if they are coming together, it's easy for the trade partners to get on board, and you have good OAC meetings because nobody's throwing anybody under the bus, and they already have a plan going into the meeting. Hey, if this comes up, this happen. This, you know what I mean? He's sitting in the office is a perfect analogy for what you.
Yeah, he means I'm literally like I'm sitting at the PM's desk right now, and the superintendent's desk is behind. He's saying I'm literally there because this is their office, and they're letting me use it today, which is also awesome for them, right? But they're a good example of that united front, and I think you're right. It's a drill is a tool, right? But you need someone running the drill. Yeah. And I think an A3 is an awesome tool to go get. I heard Jason Schroeder say, if you want everybody on the same page, put it on one page. So I love that. And I think that the A3 is a powerful tool for that. But you got to have the people being real. You got to have the people talking about what that real root cause is so that we can fill out the A3 properly. And that's where it comes down to, that I throw it a lot out there, but the 87-13 rule that Max Story mentions, it's 87% character and it's 13% competency. So in lean terms, 87% of it is going to be the respect for people and learning the people and the character that comes with that. And then 13% of it is the tools. 13% of it is the A3, the last planner system, the attack plan. That's the 13% impact on a job, but 87% of it is going to be the people behind those tools.
Man, I just had God, you got me. So if you want everyone on the same page, then make the damn page, right?
Yeah.
Create the page. They can create it together. And then, so question, and I'm just going to defer this until I can think about it and hear a little bit more from you. Mike, what is your 87-13 percentage? And Brian, the signpost, that's coming to you as well. Does that make sense, the question, Mike?
Like,
what's your character tool ratio right now?
I'll tell you, it's easy to teach the tools, right? So when we talk about lean, I'd say when I'm trying to teach people lean, I'm probably 87% on tools that I'm teaching them, and then 13% on talking about character, right? So I'm trying to grow to where we actually talk about character more. One thing, Max Dory, and I'm sorry I keep dropping Mac, man. We're going to have to give a link to this podcast, but Max got the toolbox talks that he made that just talk about character. So that's one thing we started pulling out on our job site to build that more. But as far as your everyday, I'm going to say whether you want to be or not, the 87-13 is there. So my ratio is not really going to change. The question is, am I leading in a good way or a bad way? Am I leading for good or bad? Because I am having an 87% influence on people because of my character, no matter what. But am I impacting them to inspire them so that they grow, so that they want to be more receptive to learn how to do things better? Or am I coming in and creating a confrontational culture where people are cornering up and they're afraid to show their cards and they're trying to protect themselves, right? So I don't think you can get away from the 87-13. It's there. You got to decide how you're going to lead people down that road, right? Which road are you going down?
With good intentions or with manipulative intentions? What I think you've actually, are you motivating or manipulating? And maybe that's another Mac story thing.
Yeah, that's a good, motivating or manipulating.
and never apologizing for dropping Big Daddy Mac on here, man. Him and his wife Rhea, I'm a huge fan. I had him
Me
on.
too.
We just watched you on his show as well. Y'all gotta check him out. If you don't know Mac, he's giving this in the vote on Geek collar leadership and everything it is. I guess Brian, what's your 87-13 percentages since Mike avoided my question?
So I'm going to do the same thing. What you're going to love. But first of all, I'm going to push back on Mike a little bit. He said it's easy to teach the tool. I'm going to say it's not easy to teach the tools. It's easy to explain the tools.
Yeah.
It's easy to explain A3. It's easy to explain 5S. It's hard to teach it though, because we try to teach to people we don't have relationships with and we don't have trust with. It's like you're trying to teach me something, but I don't even know you. So who are you? So without getting to the 87, you're not getting the 13 doesn't matter. You got to get the 87 first. And then if we get to the 13, great. If not, if I leave here with just dropping the 87 with you, that's success.
Man,
I didn't answer your question, but
no, but it was a beautiful response, and it's something I firmly believe in, right? It's how do our leadership styles and emotional intelligence impact trust between us and the people we're trying to guide or steer or influence or lead or insert your thing here. Yeah, I think if anything, you just helped me with my research quite a bit, Brian. You just connected a lot, even just this conversation, connecting that socio-technical loop of if you want somebody to change their behaviors, right? One, you must look in the mirror and understand your behaviors and the tools that or the professionals in your surroundings, and only then will you be able to impact or change those behaviors. But it's 87% of it's the behavior, right? And the 13% is those resources that you're taking advantage of to make those or get those changes. I think so. I want to get to some final thoughts here. Again, I'm on the fence and I'm loving this conversation. I could go all day. What's on your minds right now?
I'll let Mike go first because I feel like he's going to go longer and then I'll be shorter and we can.
I still
That's
got
not
2 more
true.
questions, Suey, but yeah.
What's on my mind right now? Man, I'm grateful for this opportunity. I could talk to you all day as well, Adam, and it's just awesome to be able to have that knowledge share and I'm getting better as we're sitting here, and it's just inspiring me to be more intentional, to be more focused on my relationships at work, at home, and it's just calling me out. And as we talk about these things, it just calls me out to want to do a better job as well. And I'm just so thankful for that and getting that opportunity. And man, I would have never pictured a day when I'm sitting here with my brother and we're representing one, the same company, and two, on a podcast together with the man Hootsy, man. And it's such an amazing opportunity, man. I didn't even know it was out there. And so it's just a really awesome experience. And I'm just so grateful for that opportunity that you gave us, Adam.
Yeah, I don't know if I gave you anything. I think you certainly earned it. I'm glad your wife didn't hold you back from coming to talk to me because I received it very well, even though every time it pokes around the wounds. I think it's so good in your ability to just pull the 87 out of me. Like you said, man, you're inspired me to go do it right today. I get to take my son to a Clemson football game today. We're gonna
Nice.
have a blast. Yes. Hopefully they don't lose to Furman, which I hear this year is a possibility. So regardless, we're going to have a blast. Yeah. Thank you for that, Mike. You always have that effect on me. And man, I'm so happy that you are in my life making a difference here. Brian, what do you got, man? What's on your mind, my brother?
First of all, it's funny you said you want to thank his wife for not pulling back. I went over there a couple of weeks ago and I was like, "Where's Mike?" And Bethany's like, "Oh, he's outside talking to his new boyfriend." And that was you. It was you and Felipe. So it was like a three-way call. Y'all were diving in. And that was Mike's off day, so he never stopped. But no, it's there. Matthew McConaughey, when he won his Oscar, said that the person he looks forward to is trying to chase is himself in 10 years. And I was lucky enough to have that person as a brother. And he's always going to be 5 years away from me. He's always going to be, I'm going to keep chasing him. He's always going to be 5 years better. But it just thinking, sitting here like 3 years ago, man, I didn't even know what he did for a living, really. I knew where he worked, but I didn't know what he did. And so now to get to be able to share this journey with him at JE Dunn, be able to, I sit again, that picture, I didn't just bring this picture today. Like this is always on my desk right here. And it's just it's a humbling experience when I get to come on something like this. And if he's thanking you because you're giving him the platform, I'm thanking you for giving him the platform to share his passion and his, like you talk about it, the 6-1, 5-1 ratio, but so many people leave this earth with so much wisdom that they didn't share with other people. And right now we're doing that. We're sharing that with these podcasts are going to live forever. And I don't care if one person or a million people watch this, like we can affect that one person. That's what it's about. Just thank you for setting the table for us and like giving us this opportunity, and it's humbling and it's an awesome experience for sure.
Man, thank you for that feedback. I appreciate that because it is a labor of love. And I love the way you think, and you literally have yourself in 5 years to chase right there. Just be careful because I hear the dogs can catch those milk sharks from time to time. Just beware of that, what might happen in that event, because I'm sure Mike would agree. It doesn't feel like you're that far away from at least getting to know you, Brian.
Hey, he can catch me. He can take whatever torches he wants, and he can run, man. I'm all for it, dude. Go.
Light the way. Old man need one of the, what do they call them? The little helpers there.
Yeah.
Man, he just needs a babysitter right now more than anything.
I've got 3 of those, Mike. Only you are a bit closer. Yeah, Mike, by the way, thank you for chipping in and helping our Clemson competition team with Scrum. That's what we were doing that way. So please, Mrs. Chiles Bros, don't get mad at me. He was investing in the next generation live in Ireland. So thank you for sharing him with the world, and Mike, very much appreciated.
Well, for the record, my wife loves you. So I think you're doing just fine, buddy.
So being that this is an episode, this is going to be our first episode in 2026, right? I want to know, what does this next year look like for y'all? What are your major rocks? What are we making happen? If we did this again next year, what are we talking about?
I think we're talking about more relationships that we made, more connections that we made. I think we're introducing the world to more people to, hey, this person here is a rock star. This person here is a rock star, getting their voices out there, getting them recorded. I think that we have so much knowledge, the minds, right? That's what your podcast thing says. And we got a lot of work to do. So I think as we're going through our journey and on our job sites, we're gonna find more people come out of that woodwork that we need to give them the mic, man, and we need to say, let's do this. Let's get your voice out there, and let's have you inspire people, because they're gonna have a different level of people that we can't touch, right? Everybody has an influence to different people, and we need to take advantage of that.
That's odd, man. Brian, how do you answer that? What are the major rocks we're talking about next year?
First of all, I want to say congrats to the Royals after winning the World Series. Honestly, I hope it's a year full of 2 things. I hope it's a bunch of wins that we get to share and like lessons learned that we get to share, but success stories, like how we were able to impact, how we were able to find those next leaders, and we're just making the industry better. But also, I'm hoping that we're able to share stories of personal, like we got together and we did this conference together. We were able to do a retreat. We were able to get the old dogs together and just continue to learn from each other. And so after a year, the next time we do this, man, it's not even just, hey, we're acquaintances, we're friends, but these are my brothers that I'm bringing in, and that's the relationship we're building, and that family aspect is growing into the industry. Because I think if you truly love the people you're around and love the people you're with, you want to see them succeed more than you want to see yourself succeed. And when we can truly do that and not just talk about it, that's when this industry is going to be successful. It's kind of about building buildings on time and on budget, but are we truly making the people around us better on and off the field, but on and off the job site. I hope a year from now, we were able to learn so many lessons and share so many successes that we were all able to have.
Dude, that's awesome. So you're telling me I can become a Chiles Bro? Is that what you're saying?
Anytime, brother.
You don't know your Chiles Bro, man.
Our table anytime, man. Seat at our table anytime.
You just need to eat about 3 times as much every time you sit down.
I got a guest room with you and your wife's name on it, man. Anytime.
Let's go. Get on up here, bud. Let's see some barbecue, man.
Man, I want to go see Ted Lasso's Roots. Absolutely. Yeah. For the record, I played against Zach Greinke. I know he's a Hall of Famer, Royal Native.
Yeah. Over here.
Pop to Florida. Yeah, I hit a double off him. That's like
nice.
Yeah. It was all luck because that man threw gas even at high schools in the 90s. And in my day, that was.
Do you remember what it was? Did he leave a hanger? Do you remember what it was?
They had to return a curveball. I wasn't touching his fastball. Yeah,
you could dot that too. You could dot that fastball for sure.
Yeah, man. Definitely one of my baseball idols, no doubt. And my son got to grow up watching him, and that was always every time my son, it's like the buildings you do. I was part of that team, and my son's like, yeah, you hit a double off him. Anyway, and then Brian, you just dropped something as well. Hey, the family thing, right? Something if you're the folks working around you are like a family, that might be a bad thing. I think that's the total opposite. And I think maybe those that say you shouldn't have wounds there, like to your point earlier. And then there is a conference coming up, right? This is the perfect way to end the Lean Builder podcast. We're going to reach the 4 reflections here. J.E. Dunn is co-chairing this next LCI Congress. Elizabeth is going out and doing her thing, and it's in Atlanta this year. It's actually super convenient for me because it's a week or maybe 2 weeks earlier. I think it's the 12th to the 16th next year. And that allows me to be with my daughters on their birthday. So, man, shout out to Elizabeth and Jay.
She did that on purpose for you. She told me so. Yeah.
We had a conversation. Yeah, super awesome, man. And I'm excited to make an impact there. I guess, what does that look like from your guys' perspective? Like, are we already planning for that? I'm sure Miss Elizabeth is, but what are we doing? What are we doing during October next year, y'all?
I'll go first on this one. I'm already thinking of an abstract. I want to speak again this year. And actually, you piqued me with the 6-1, so I think I'm going to roll in that direction. But so I'll be stealing that. People who listen to this. But yeah, abstracts are due right around the corner. I really hope I'm able to go again this year. I think it's so important. And if anything, if nothing else, it remotivates you, it gets you going, lights your fire, man. Like we were all there. We did the LCI podcast together, and in that room, you could just like that. Those walls barely held us, man. It was awesome, and that's the type of fire that I want to have year round. And having conversations like this, and not just doing it once a year at LCI. It's so important for me because it keeps me. I love my brother to death, but he talks about lean all the time, but having the same conversation with the same person, sometimes you need to switch it up. It's awesome to have conversations like this, and I even wrote down notes that Mike was saying that you never told me that before. Yeah, I'm like, where's this? Just saving this wisdom for you, Adam. Be humble.
Adam just brings it out of you, man. He's just special like that, dude.
But no, Elizabeth in the chair is so awesome. She's an incredible leader, and I can't wait and really hope I'm able to go to that. But no, the L's guys in good hands with her. I'll definitely say that.
Absolutely. What do you think? What's going down in October, Dr. Chop?
Let's see. I've gone for several years, and which is not typical in our company. So I hope they don't strike me off the list. We'll see. But if I'm gonna be on an abstract, Brian's gonna write me into it because I've done mine for the last couple of years, and we'll see what happens there. But maybe some teaching. We'll see. Might be some learning day involvement there that we're looking at. But I'm gonna find a way to get there somehow because, man, the relationship piece of that now, just getting to see No BS, Jen and Jess, and getting to see Felipe, getting to see you, and getting to see the old dogs. And man, I'd love to figure out a way to get Mac and Rhea there hanging out with us and selling some books. But man, it's so awesome to see so many passionate, awesome people just together and doing some life together for a week and learning from each other. And man, I just love it, dude. It just fires me up. every year. It's so awesome.
Yeah, you just explained it, man. I think you and I need to submit a little learning day. How to become an old dog, baby.
Yeah.
And I don't really know the answer to that, so that's why I need your help.
Here's how you could quickly scan that real quick. People that are watching.
I love it, man. Constantly promoting. So I want to do things semi-typical as we go off on the podcast on other ones, but I just want to lead the stage. And I just want y'all to take it and run with it until you're done running with it. The lean builder, Chiles Bros on the ground with no bullshido. Show me what that looks like, fellas.
Oh man, here we are. We're live, dude. We're
Right.
going. Let's go.
Spotlight, man. Hey, that's what to talk about. But real quick, I'll go. Again, he's an incredible person. He's incredible when it comes to relationships and firing me up and also making me think. I'll ask him a question, but he'll find the question behind the question. But with you and me, man, first of all, I think, again, it's humble to be on a situation like this with you. And I think it's so fun to come in here and talk about a passion, but also do it with the person you love most in this world and somebody you learned a lot from. I trust you and the avenues we go around, and I feel like I'll have to guide us back every now and then because you're going to be chasing that new toy. But no, I'm excited to see the future hold as far as podcasting and all that stuff.
Man, I love that. Dude, just so awesome just to be on with you and then to hear you say that. It's just awesome. And yeah, Adam is such a great guy and I just absolutely love him so much. And dude, I'm so proud of you. I was thinking about it this morning when we were talking. If I had to introduce you, man, the first thing I'd say is you're my brother. And that's what I'm probably proudest of. And you've done so many awesome things. You made so many great relationships, but what I'm most proud of is that, man, I get to be your brother. And it's such a, I don't know. I don't know how words to express how amazing it is just to be in this moment where we get to be together like this and we get to do this. And who knows? We'll see what happens. I mean, it could be some more hosting here with us, or it could just be the Chiles Bros taking off, and we'll see what happens with that. But that's for us to, like Adam said, it's a labor of love. So we just got to be ready to roll. And I think that what we talked about today is so true. I'm just thinking about Kansas City, and I'm thinking about all the construction that you're seeing in the area and around the Midwest. And there's so many awesome people on our job sites that are just quietly walking around and people don't know who they are. And I'm feeling responsible as we're sitting here just to, hey, we got to go introduce them to the world, man. We got to get that knowledge shared. And we've got to let those voices be heard. The community of practice that we're starting up in Kansas City, man, that's exactly what we need to be doing. It's not so much about the tools unless we have the relationships behind it, right? So we need to start building those relationships, and we need to start getting those people known so that they can start making connections with other people that are grinding through the same stuff in our area. I'm just feeling responsible that you and I got to be helpful in getting their voices out there, and the lean interest groups are a great way to do that. So that's something we have going right now that we can take advantage of.
Absolutely. I want to keep using our voices as long as people want to hear it. Hopefully, if people don't want to hear us, then we'll just talk to ourselves. That's all right. We have those truck.
We can definitely do that.
We can keep going if nobody cares what we're saying. But
we're gonna hit record with Mom. I'm telling you, at some point we're gonna do that for sure.
All right, man. I love you, and I can't wait to see the future. And I'm excited. And I guess this is coming out in 2026, so new year, and let's get after it.
All right, man. Love you too. And thanks to you for the opportunity. And we've gone, man. Peace out, y'all.
Peace out. I think Adam wants to keep us going, but I think we're talked out.
That's impossible.
July.